We have another clip of Howard Schultz on there, just because it's so fun and it's so, it really is revealing of this group of people, right? Like, and the thing is that he's going to go in. He could spend hundreds of millions, I guess, on his campaign. It'll be interesting to see if he does that, but it also gives you a sense of like how twisted, just imagine if one of these guys decided like, I'm not going to be president. I'm just going to be in charge of education. And then all of a sudden you get Bill Gates, right? Like that's, Bill Gates I think is smarter, but he doesn't necessarily like.
Well, this is every time you hear about a billionaire pledging to give their fortune away to philanthropy, like they're talking about policy. They're not giving it in cash to the poor. They're talking about influencing policy every time.
Yes. And Bill Gates spent $750 million, maybe more, and completely changed the trajectory of where educational thought was going in this country for, at least half a decade, maybe more, a lot of data, maybe almost a decade. And at the end of that, commissioned a Rand report and basically said, we were completely wrong. And what the teachers and professional educators have been saying was right. Nobody reported on it.
Yeah.
I don't think it made one national news broadcast, and it completely influenced and still reverberates through our educational system.
Is there any TV programs you'd like to demand apologies from for hosting?
There's a whole host.
Why should you listen to teachers when you could listen to education experts?
But that's the thing. They didn't listen to education experts. Like, they did not listen to educators, right? Like people who had been trained in teaching. They listened to system analysis folks, and they listened to quant people. And then they just basically walked away, and I don't think the message necessarily has been fully absorbed. That like they were really wrong, like so wrong that even when they did their self-analysis. And so let's listen to Schultz make more of his pitch.
So it's March Madness. Everyone knows Monday night is a big game. Okay, so this week, Tom Izzo is from Michigan State, someone I went to school with. He was being interviewed and he was asked, what kind of kids do you recruit for Michigan State? And he said there's three kinds of kids. Kids who like it, kids who love it, and kids who live it. I recruit kids who live it. Ladies and gentlemen, what we need to do as Americans is we need to start living our values. We need to start recognizing that we are in this together. Every problem that we have can be solved if we come together as a nation. We are all Americans. We're here tonight, Republicans, Democrats, Independents. Remember I said no hate zone? This can be done. We can solve our problems and come together. Do you agree with me?
Can I just say, like, I have no idea what he's talking about. Like, what is that?
Because you're so full of hate.
But living it means, like, I live and breathe basketball. Like, I play constantly. Yeah. Like, I wake up in the morning. It's not a question of, like, should I go out and practice? It's like, there's nothing I want to do other than practice. I don't understand what that means in the context of us living our values.
I don't know.
There's nothing I want to do other than triangulate. Say Pavlov, it doesn't mean anything.
Like, I just don't understand what that means.
I wake up eager to find the exact midpoint between two competing ideologies. I live and breathe.
And well, that's the thing is that
live and breathe fiscal responsibility and social tolerance.
But
so wait,
this is images of Tom Izzo going at one of his players and yelling at him, and the kid looks like he's completely, like he's like, Coach, I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
He's living it right there.
He's living it. So wait, but that's the point. Is like that's what living it is.
Yeah.
Like he just said no ideology in the other clip, and that's what living it is.
Right.
It's like, I'm going for this.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't.
Can we do? This gives me an opportunity to talk about the Schultz thing that I cannot believe no one has actually done this reporting yet, because like it's already sort of known that he's not truthful about his own biography. He went to Michigan State. No one knows why or how, because he grew up in New York City. He was in this middle class public housing that was like the nice public housing for middle class white families. CUNY and SUNY were free at the time if you lived here. No one was going to a state school in another state if they were like qualified to get in.
Maybe he was living and breathing it.
I guess he was living and breathing it.
Maybe he was living and breathing it.
But he has, in the past, he has claimed to have gotten an athletic scholarship, and then he revealed that
true.
was not true.
That's so weird.
So like, why did he go to Michigan? Like,
That
what was he
is
doing at
actually
Michigan State?
super-
Going to a public, like he's not like he went to Harvard. He went to a public state school in another state, had to pay money for, when he could have just gone to school for free in New York.
That is really weird.
It's really weird.
Maybe he pissed off.
It's
some
just weird that there's
mafia
no
crew.
story. It could have been like, I really, really had a crush on
Yeah,
a girl.
But like
and-
his original story was,
or-
I got an athletic scholarship, and that turns out not to be true. So now there's just no story.
We need to
there.
imagine a scenario where you don't dump me, and I go follow you to Michigan.
But anyway, yeah.
That
I
is
think-
some real
you know-
old economy Howard shit too. Can we appreciate that?
You know how
Yeah.
we get to how we make fun of Chuck Schumer for having an imaginary family that he runs his bad ideas by, and then they reconfirm them for him. I think that like Howard Schultz has such an incredible lack of moral imagination that he doesn't even think he needs imaginary people in his own head to talk to.
Right.
And maybe we need
Well, I do.
a
There-
solution to it that risks the imagination of a new kind of possibility.
I just love how Bill Burton so clearly in that clip. Bill Burton's just like why Steve Schmidt seems like genuinely like whiny and aggrieved, and Bill Burton's just like, dude, you hearing what I'm saying? And if you can see my bank statements right now, it would be so funny to you too.
Bill Burton must have talked to his buddies, and I wonder what those. I mean, I have a vague notion of what those conversations were. People
I
were
have
just
an
like,
opportunity to
"Dude,
be a multimillionaire.
take the money, take the
Yes.
money," and
Yeah.
you're not going to be hurting anybody. He's not. Maybe it's like he's not going anywhere, or maybe I mean, I wonder.
Why is Schmidt so bitchy about it though?
Well, because he is doing exactly what he criticized his former friends supposedly,
right.
you know, a year like literally there are clips of him going like, I just found out the whole conservative movement is a graph and that it's like it's just a scam. And
okay.
and then all of a sudden he's like, multi-million-dollar contract. Okay.
Maybe he really believes in him. Who knows?
I mean, listen, I will cop to this. There is a number. I'm not sure what it is,
Of course.
but you know, if I had to take a leave of absence
Let
from
me
the
tell you
show,
something.
folks,
Howard Schultz
like,
could set up like 500 dummy Patreon accounts. Just throw them in. That'd be good. Let's just knock TMBS
Well, it's funny,
up to our
'cause,
next
like-
3,000 patrons, and I'll tell you how to imagine a new possibility.
well, no, I mean,
whatever the fuck.
it's not inconceivable to me to imagine like that there would be a number where I'd be like, listen, I got to take 6 to 8 months off the show. I will explain in a year and a half as to why I'm doing this.
Love to
And
see.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I mean, with Schmidt too, it's like if you're like one of the dozen genuine never Trump Republican guys, like your paydays are limited.
Right.
Who's going to hire you?
Right.
Like, no one's going to hire you.
well,
Right
he
now.
had a decent podcast that was doing pretty well.
No, but I mean, no, but I mean, he had a decent. No, but he had an MSNBC. I mean, it is interesting that like he had an opportunity to live to his principles and be totally comfortable.
Yeah.
And It
Right.
was just like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
he
yeah.
did have that opportunity.
Right.
I think obviously.
not
Now you don't know.
If it was
Maybe,
literally
you know,
like, hey,
you-
he's bankrupt.
You know, I mean, you don't know.
And he
Maybe
has,
he
like-
has, you know, like, a sick family member who has no health insurance. I mean, I don't
And
know.
we need to make
I
sure
don't
that
know.
they stay
But
without health
gambling
It
insurance.
is right. You could have severe gambling
He
debt.
owes
There's a
money
whole.
to some
We
of
don't
the
know
same
that he
people
does.
that
It's
Brett
possible.
Kavanaugh
Who
might have
knows?
owed money to. That's
Didn't
actually-
McCain was famous actually for like just losing tons of money gambling.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
John McCain.
he would gamble for like an entire weekend and just lose a fortune.
That's cool.
But you know,
Well, he is. He had
money.
married
Yeah,
into
married into
some
money.
pretty
Call
big
his
money.
daughter.